Fellas, today we're diving into something real. Confidence. Not just in yourself, but in your relationship. If you ever wonder if you're doing enough or if your relationship is strong enough, we've got you. Let's break down how you can own your confidence and build a solid foundation with your partner. So if you're ready, let's get into it.
Hey, Mr. Friends, welcome back, you guys, to the Blissology Podcast,
where we break down everything related to love, marriage, and relationship with the goal of creating more bliss.
That's right.
And less stress.
Listen, I am your girl, your host, Cece. And as always, I'm joined with my handsome co-host. What's going on, babe?
Everything's going on.
Okay.
Everything.
I can see confidence is going on.
Everything's going on. Hey, everybody, this is Will, and thank you for joining us today. If this is your first time tuning into our podcast, it is a weekly podcast where we bring you inspiring, relatable, and relevant content every Saturday.
That's right. So we are so glad that you guys are with us today on this beautiful Saturday.
As always, before we get into the topic of the day, we always like to share what we call our blissful moment. Now, that's either something that we did or something that happened to us.
Yes. What's going on, babe? What's your blissful moment?
I don't know if I would call that a blissful moment, but
it's been a blissful moment for you, babe.
I'm not the type who get ticked off.
Thursday morning was a crazy day for this man, y'all.
I was off my game. But what I say to this is that the blissful part is you gotta learn to stay in control. And I say this, that's something that I'm proud of myself to do, but man, I was like this close. And it wasn't even something big. And this is where you gotta realize, depending on the amount of stress you're under or what may be going on in your life, sometimes little things can throw you off. And there's that little thing. I'm looking at it. It's things that I could easily brush off, but I didn't. And I ended up venting to CC, and I used some colorful word to describe what took place and what I actually said in my mind. You know, sometimes there's things that happen on the outside. You're cool.
Yeah.
You're cool. No one would suspect that anything's going on in there. But man, if that day you were in my mind, you would have like, well, you should see a therapist. But it's important to be able to maintain that control. And I think that's something that a lot of us are losing these days, is that we wear our emotions on our sleeves, which means everything that happens to us is out in the open. And I'll tell you, if I was putting everything that was happening in my mind out there, people would have thought that I was nuts. Not granted, I don't live for people. I believe that I should live for myself. But we have to be able to maintain that control. It was a proud moment to really test my ability to maintain my calmness and not let. But obviously, Cece got the brunt of it, because afterwards I shared with her what was happening up here, because I had to let it out.
The words that was coming out of your mouth that day, I was on the phone livid. I was like laughing so hard. You were really like that anger guy from that movie Inside Out, right? You were that anger guy from the movie Inside Out. That was it. And you were on fire. Yeah.
But anyway, you know what? The big lessons for me is, and I think for anyone sometimes who can't manage the anger, is if you're gonna say something, say it inside your head while you're keeping your outside looking cool.
Yeah.
Because there's a certain environment that if you let go, reputation goes. And if it's something you do at work, you know that at work there's certain ways you have to behave.
Yeah.
Although that could put you in a position to just accept abuse. But if you're in a place where you're being abused, there's some other choices you have to make. But at the end of the day, you have to learn, because anger can make you do things that you didn't intend.
Yeah.
And if you act always with anger, you would find that you would hurt a lot of people in your life. You'll hurt a lot of people who may not have deserved that, because everyone's got things going on with them.
Right.
Anyway, that was my blissful moment, my proud moment of being able to keep my cool under fire. So today we talk about something that can make or break a relationship, literally.
That's right.
You know, confidence.
Yes.
Not just confidence in yourself, but also confidence in your relationship. With everything going on in today's world, you've got social media, you've got relationship comparison that's happening here and there. It's easy to lose focus.
Yes.
It's easy to lose confidence.
Yes.
But we're here to get real about how to build and keep that confidence.
That's right.
You know, if you ever wonder if your partner is on solid ground, this episode is for you.
Hey.
So when we talk about confidence, it's not just about feeling good about yourself. Confidence in a relationship means trusting that you are loved and you are valued by your partner.
Right.
It's about being secured, not just in your relationship, but in who you are.
That's right.
You know, because for you to have confidence, you have to be in a good place.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. And I think sometimes it's not just about having doubts or worries, right? Because sometimes we think about confidence where you are having doubt,
Like constantly worry
about your partner. But it's about knowing that the foundation is strong. Okay. Yeah. When was it? We've been reading Matthew. And in Matthew, they were talking about, building a strong foundation. So I like the fact that it mentioned about, you got to build a strong foundation. Your relationship must be strong, right? And I think sometimes even when we argue, I never question that are we in this together, or are we in this for the long run, right?
Or do I love you? I mean, yes, there are cases where we just know that we don't like each other. More like she just know that she doesn't like me until I make good on whatever I did wrong. But never once do we think that we don't love each other.
Yes. I mean, we argue, right? We argue, but at the same time, we know that we are arguing for a reason, for a purpose.
Yeah.
Like,
it's usually something I did.
That's what every couples do anyways.
She never do anything.
Oh, okay, baby. Now, don't be lying to my people over here, okay? Over here, we don't be lying, babe. We don't do that. We don't do that.
Maybe I do more. A lot of couple these days, especially in today's culture, where everything looks perfect on Instagram, they struggle because they're comparing their real life to someone's, they call that highlight reels.
Yes.
So when you do this, you're capturing things that are actually real in the world that's happening in your life, and you comparing to that little glimpse of moments that someone captured, which is far from the truth.
Yeah.
Now, confidence comes when you focus on what's real between you and your partner.
Yes.
If you find yourself putting what's real, but you're comparing it against something that's fictitious, there's no way you can have that confidence. So people have to learn to stay away from those things that are being shared all over the place and stop expecting their relationship to be like them.
Yes. And the thing is too, it's not something that happened overnight, right? Because you have to think of this. If you are watching people on social media, on the social world, I call it, confidence takes time. It takes that trust to build. It takes trust to build, and it happens over time. Right. Yes. And I feel like that's what makes you confident. And again, it takes work. It takes work. Don't you think that this is the microwave, relationship?
You throw it in there in 3 minutes, you're like madly confident.
It's nothing like that at all. Like, I want those of you guys who are in your dating phase that when you're with someone, it takes time to build that trust. It takes time for you to build that confidence about the person that you're with and yourself, right?
You made a good point. But first, let's talk about what happens when there's no confidence.
Yes.
Because I know we've been there too.
Listen, we've been there, done that. Okay, we've been there in our early age, in our early stage of dating world.
Listen, I had moment early on when I second guessed myself. Like, am I good enough? Do I look good enough? Am I confident enough? Can I take care of this woman? And I think sometimes that lack of personal confidence can bleed into that relationship.
Right.
Because the moment that you're second guessing your abilities, the way you look and your talents, you start doing things that makes you seem less and less confident because you don't have that in you.
I so agree with you, babe, because I feel like when you take what you have, your relationship, and you work it and you build it together, you tend to have more confidence in yourself.
Oh, yes.
Versus what you mentioned earlier, like the whole social media world, right? Where we're comparing those couples highlights reel.
Yeah.
You know, how I want to be like them or how I want you to be like them. But when we focus on what we have more confidence because we built that confidence together. And I think sometimes this is what people don't have. When we take time and you focus on what you have and you build it and you work it together versus like you secretly looking at someone else's relationship
and wish you had
what they have. Because let me tell you this, building confidence in yourself is the most important things of all time.
Yep.
And I think if you don't have confidence in yourself, it's going to be hard for you to have confidence in your relationship.
Oh, there's no way. If
right?
you don't have confidence in yourself, there's no way you can have confidence in your relationship. Because remember, the relationship that you have, it's you.
Right.
If you're not in a good place, you cannot expect that relationship to be in a good place.
Yes.
So how do you get to that place where you feel good about you to be able to build that confidence in that relationship?
Listen, how do you feel, baby?
For me,
yeah,
I was realizing that confidence isn't about being perfect.
Okay.
It's more about accepting who I was, well, who I still am, with flaws all in all.
Yeah.
Listen, I know I have issues.
A lot of them.
This is not the first time you guys have said it. In fact, one of the issues I have is I say crazy things in my head when things happen while I'm staying cool. But that helps me. You know, I stopped looking for outside validation.
Yes.
You know, if something's going on, I look into me, not friends, not social media, especially not social media. That's why you will never find me posting anything that's going on and hoping that I post it and some people would like it to me. No, I don't do that stuff.
You're very private.
I'm private
and reserved.
Except to this woman. She knows what's happening with me, but she's my rock.
Yeah.
You know, when I have issues, that's who I bring it to, and together we fix it. So,
that's right.
But I stopped looking for validation from anywhere.
Yeah.
I may have ideas and run it by CC and see how we think, but that's why we're together.
Right.
But not our parents, not our family, not friends, not coworkers. No. We live here. Now, if we get to a place where we need therapy, then we'll get therapy. Then that would be necessary. But at this point, we're not there. But I'll tell you, when you soul it in who you are, it naturally strengthens your relationship.
That is so true.
Yeah.
That is so true.
Because if you're in a good place again, your relationship will be at a good place.
Yes. You know, I just love what you just said. And I feel like sometimes confidence doesn't always have to come from our partner telling us how great we are, right? And I think I mentioned this earlier, that confidence comes from within. Because you got to have that confidence in yourself first and then your relationship. As far as for me, I had to focus on what I bring to the table. Okay. Although I bring my whole wholeness, you know, and once I started seeing my own worth, and I think that's at some point I really felt better.
You're starting to feel a little better about the relationship.
Yes. Because you got to bring your whole self. You got to bring you. This is something a lot of us need to understand. It starts within you. It starts with you first, right? And you cannot come in this relationship feeling like, you know, unsure, feeling like, I'm not sure.
I think you could start that way, but quickly realize that, you know what? I need to start making some changes.
Yeah.
And I think many of us, when we started early on, now we're talking about 14 years in the making.
Right.
So, but I'll tell you, when we started, we weren't the way we are right now.
Although I'm 25.
Although she's still 25.
I agree with you on that. You're right about that. Because it takes some time for you to build that confidence. It takes some time for you to be like, you know what? After a year with this person, I'm confident that this is the one for me. That this is, you know, this is him. This is it.
Yeah, you know, being your real self, sometimes I think that's something that we don't talk about enough. We think confidence comes from having everything figured out.
Yeah.
But it's really about showing up authentically, showing up with your true self. Listen, there's a lot of stuff that I don't know, and I'm okay if I don't know them, but I'm not just going to sit here and still not knowing. I'm going to find out. I'm the type that, hey, Cece sometimes thinks that I can figure everything out. I'm the first one that's going to say, I have not done this before. I'm not saying no, but you got to give me some time to figure it out.
Baby, you sure about that?
Yes.
Are you
Although
sure about that?
she thinks that I can handle everything.
My husband over here, guys, I kind of disagree on that, baby.
I've been blessed with the ability to try to figure things out.
Yes, and I told you this many times before that you have the gift of knowledge, and you have to know how to apply it in your life.
Well, yes, I do. I see something once and I remember it.
Correct.
It's kind of, I can take something apart that has a trillion parts. I will put it back on one after the other. I literally do the reverse of what I did.
Right.
So I've been blessed with this. But again, that doesn't mean I have everything figured out. Although
Right.
she still thinks that I do, but I don't.
Although in the beginning of relationship, they show up as if they have it all figured out.
I don't. Listen,
Babe,
Cece of all people knows that there's a lot of things that haven't figured
I'm
out.
not talking
this
about
life.
you in particular. I'm talking about in general,
Oh,
right?
yes.
In general, sometimes when y'all come up into the relationship, like, you know, like you got it.
Well,
Like you got it.
Women likes men who are confident and shows
Sure do.
that. So yes, if someone comes in, they barely know who they are. What you'd probably kick them to the curb.
And then what
But if
happened
they
when
show
you
up,
don't?
they know what's going on. They're like, yeah, take me, baby.
And then what happened when you can't figure it out?
That's your problem.
Right? So you
So
gotta
listen,
know.
let's share some tips with them. And so some of the things that we've done and some of the things that I think anyone who's looking to build that confidence can do.
Yes.
'Cause I think it's important to look at these things because we didn't get to be the way we are just waking up one day and it happens.
Yes.
It's little things that we've put in place and we've put in practice in our lives that help. So
Yes. For me, I would say the number one thing is to start small.
small.
Small goals. Small goals. Start small.
Okay.
Start working on you first. Okay. That's my number one tip is to set small goals. Start working on you. And when you see yourself, you know, growing.
Getting little things done
Yes.
here and there. That's good. You know, that's something that's important. I think in business they apply that as well. Take a big task and break it down in little chunks.
Yeah.
And as you wrap up these little chunks, you feel good about it and you do more.
Listen, if you're not confident in yourself and your relationship, I say the number one thing you want to do is self-love. Start loving yourself first. Start within yourself. Because if you're not ready, if you're not confident in you, in yourself, and you're not confident in your body, and when I'm talking about confident in yourself, I'm talking about your body, the way you look, the way you carry yourself, right? Your job, your career, your business, whatever it is. Start somewhere, or how you talk, right? Your personalities. Start somewhere. Start small and start crushing these, right? You could even make a checklist and be like, you know what? This month I'm working on me. I'm working on my personalities, or I'm doing it for me.
Yeah, and set little things that you want to do.
And then you just check. And then next month or next week, and then you move on. It's going to take more than just a week. Next month, you go on to the next step.
Sometimes even longer than that, but at least have something that you're working towards.
Correct.
And yes, check off any little things that you do.
Check them off, girl. Check them off.
For me, I'd say comparing yourself with others,
Ooh,
whether it's their relationship or maybe how they look, stop doing that. You look the way you do. Now, if you think you need to look better, meaning that you want to look better than the way you look yesterday, just compare yourself to where you were the day before. So just compete against yourself, not other people. Listen, we all look different, and some of us will die looking different. There's no way we'll ever get to that. So accept yourself, but that doesn't mean it's a certain thing you want to do, maybe health-wise. Maybe you want to change your style, but don't base it on someone else's.
Yeah. You know why? Because I feel like sometimes when we think of comparison comparison is a confident killer.
Oh yeah.
Right? Because you're comparing yourself. Whatever you do, whatever whatever you put on, and you feel like you're still not like him. Or
Well, you will
like
not
her,
ever be like that
right?
person. If you're comparing yourself to someone else, you're not that person.
Yes, I totally agree with you.
Yeah.
Because it's going to kill your confidence, and you have to stop it. Stop comparing yourself to others. Point blank, period. Because you're not that person. I'm not you, baby. I can't compare myself. Okay. All right. Here we go.
You cannot be me.
I am not, I am not the next top model. So I'll never compare myself to that person, that girl. I'm always going to compete with myself.
So another thing that's important that we keep in mind or include in this tip list is you got to learn to be comfortable with being vulnerable. Being open about your struggles. Listen, if you're struggling with something, no need to hide it. It's okay to be open about it. That may put you in a position to get some help.
Yeah.
Maybe someone will criticize you, but so what? Because sometimes people suffer. They suffer in silence, and before you know it, they run into issues. And believe me, when you're suffering with something and only you know it, it takes your confidence down because you'll never see yourself being a winner. So if you're struggling, it's okay.
Yeah.
Bring that struggle out. That's how you get help.
Absolutely.
Especially if you're in a relationship. If you're struggling with something and your partner's there, who knows? They may be the one person you needed to show you another way of doing this.
Absolutely.
So allow yourself to be vulnerable, especially when it comes to the thing that you're struggling with, because that's how you get help.
That's true. Allow yourself, gentlemen. Not everything has to be done your way.
Yes. But I'd say, I think the biggest thing as part of this, being vulnerable and sharing your struggles, is that you got to learn to own your truth. If what's happening with you right now, that's your truth, own it. And that will allow you to be free.
Yeah. And I think, that's something that a lot of guys needs to hear because they don't want to let that to be seen by the world, by family members or friends, right? They want you to know that they got you or they are struggling, but they won't reach out.
Yeah.
Right? We've seen it.
I'm kind of like that sometimes.
Yeah,
too.
I mean, this is your sign. I've actually read into how we are as Capricorns because we tend to we are fine smiling here.
That's
but
something
then
I'm working on.
We are working on late night, midnight, 1, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, figuring it out because we won't reach out. But it's the truth though, right? Okay. That's just how it is. So I think when it comes to you fellas, you, the gentlemen on our podcast, you really have to let go and ask for help if need be.
Yeah. And that's how you build. That's one of the ways that you will definitely help build confidence in your relationship. Now, personal confidence is just as important. And a lot of these two things are intertwined with each other.
Yes.
You built one, you built the other.
Right.
So I think when it comes to building that personal confidence, you start with trust. You have to trust that your partner has your back. For me, the more we communicate openly, the more I share with her what's going on. In some cases, the more I share with her what was happening in my mind. I'm thinking back on my blissful moment. But the more openly I share with her what's going on, the more confident that I get knowing that we're good and she's got me. Even when things are tough, trust is huge.
Absolutely.
If I didn't trust her, I would not have opened up and let her know how I felt and how I almost blew up. But I trust that she's got my back. She can handle me. Let me just say that.
Yes, I can. I feel like sometimes you can handle me.
Yeah. And, this reassures me as a man that my partner's got my back. And if I know my partner's got my back, it doesn't matter what happened outside of the home.
Right.
I know I'm going to come in a place where I'm supported.
Right.
And that allows me to say, you know what? Whatever happened, I'm going to come home.
Yes.
And I'm going to kiss my wife and my children.
Yes.
We're going to laugh. We're going to smile. I'm going to leave that behind. Maybe I'll deal with it the next day. But I know that I'm walking into a good place.
Yeah.
And that allows me to, because my wife trusts me. I trust my wife. She's got me.
That's right. I got you. You got me. We got each other.
That's what I'm talking about.
That's what we do. And we're going to build that confidence through consistency.
Oh, yeah. Consistency.
Yes.
Very, very important.
Which means, y'all, you got to keep showing up for each other. Okay? You have to keep showing up no matter what.
Even when things gets crazy, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Especially when life get crazy, baby. Especially when things get crazy, you have to keep showing up for each other. And I think it's those moments that build us stronger, right?
Yeah.
And I think sometimes, you know, when things are crazy, that's not when I'm like, you know what, forget you.
Yeah, let me just let you be.
Yeah. And I think, you know, it's showing up for each other and appreciate each other. And I think for me, another way to build confidence is through showing up for your partner every single day.
You're right.
Every single time. Showing up for each other. I showed up for you when you called me. You were going through your crazy stuff.
I expected you to show up for me and listen.
And I expect you to show up for me when I'm going through my crazy stuff with my clients too.
You know how many times you call me, hey, I gotta talk. Can I get your opinion on something before
I'm always
you know
going to
it?
be talking to you about you.
Sometimes she's watching some. She's like, I want you to come see this. I'm like, why do I need to see this?
Because I want you to come see it. I need you to be there. So yes, you got to keep showing up for each other because we actually been married for 14 years together, 18 years. We've been showing up for each other from the get-go.
So whatever she's in,
okay,
somehow I am in.
Vice versa. Whatever you in, somehow I find myself into it. Especially
except when I'm washing the car, she's not in it.
No, sir. I'm not into this because you take too long. Okay. What I was gonna say, baby, before you keep cutting me off, I want to say showing up for each other, especially when life get crazy.
Yeah.
Right? When life get crazy, that's when your partner needs you the most. They need to feel confident about that you got me.
Yes.
Right? That we got each other. Whatever I'm going through, that your partner is there for you.
It's important. And you know that gives you, as a partner, it gives you that, you know that someone's there.
Yes.
You know someone got you. Things could be happening crazy. Everything's going wrong in your life. Mm-hmm. But you know that partner got you.
Right.
And you know that could be done through small things.
Yeah. Sending a text message.
You know,
I know you're going through something. Yeah.
I'll send you a funny emojis.
Yeah.
Like I know the other day I got one. It was hump day. And that camel was humping. One of the kids sent it to me. I don't think they realized what the camel was doing. But I got a good laugh out of it. All these little things adds up and contribute to the big picture of being there for your partner.
Yeah, and I think sometimes that's what's built confidence over time.
Oh, yes.
Right? Because we need that. And sometimes confidence doesn't have to be perfect.
No. Look at me right now. Look at me. I got mad problems. But we're good.
Committed. We committed to each other. We committed to working through things together. That's what confidence means. Whatever trial, tribulation, whatever storm that it is, that when you committed, you get through it.
Oh, yes.
Speaking about together.
Yeah.
When we talk about confidence, right? We can't talk about confidence without addressing the elephant.
What elephant?
In the room.
Which one?
Society.
Well, there's a lot of requirements and expectations that are imposed to us by society and social media.
Yes, the pressure to be.
Yeah. People out there are comparing their behind the scene with someone else's. Let's be honest. Real relationship doesn't look like what's posted online. Mm-mm. No way.
Have you seen Denzel Washington and his wife a lot on social media?
No, I don't think I have.
Well, yeah, same here. Because they're real relationship.
Listen, that's why I don't post
things
about my relationship on social media besides having this podcast where we just as open and real as possible.
Yeah. And I think you need that. You need to be confident in your story.
Yeah.
And I think you need confidence in yourself, not someone else's opinion or someone else's like or comments.
No.
And
listen. what we do here is what we do here.
Right.
I'm sure you can find other couples that are very different than we are, but they are who they are.
Yeah.
And we are who we are.
Yes.
Flaws and all.
Flaws and all.
We just who we are. And this is what we can never let society or what's happening around us become how we live.
Mm-hmm.
Our life is our lives, and we're going to
Yeah.
live it the best way we can.
Yeah.
Others will live theirs the best way they can. So when you and your partner know what's important, all the outside noises, all the other things that are happening no longer matter.
That's right.
No. Confidence comes from focusing on your own path,
Yes.
not what everyone else is doing.
That's right.
So I'm sure there's other podcasters that does things very different and maybe better than we do. But you know what? They are who they are.
Right.
Don't ever let society's expectation dictates how your relationship look or how you do anything in life. Your confidence come from within. It come from in here, in building something real with your partner. That's all that matters.
Yes.
You know, be confident in what you have and make sure you and your partner, you are on the same page. And if you're not, work on getting on the same page.
Right.
At the end of the day, that's all that matters.
That's all that matters. That's all that matters.
So to all of you out there who's looking to live your best life, make sure your best life is what you and your partner want and not based on what maybe your neighbor's doing. Like, I don't even know what my neighbor looks like. Well, I know what they look like, but I don't mingle. I don't interact. I don't need them to know what I'm doing.
Listen.
And I don't need to know what they are doing.
Listen, I'm one of those people where when I see my neighbors, I close my door.
I'm not that extreme. I would wave at them, but that's the extent of which.
There's actually a video on TikTok that actually goes into Capricorns or
What you do when you see your
introverts,
neighbors?
what they do when they see their neighbors coming out of the car and they quickly shuts the door and get back inside until the neighbor leaves. And I'm one of those people. If I see you coming or if I see you, I'm just going to wait until you leave because I don't have time to conversating with you. I don't have time to talk to you because I just don't have the time.
Well, that's how we are. Now, hey, listen, we've shared a whole lot on what to do to be confident. And yes, please try to, because we're still working at some of them. But I think we're in a much better place
Absolutely.
that we were years ago. So
Yes.
to wrap up, what I would say is confidence in your relationship, in yourself, is about trust. It's about being vulnerable. It's about being consistent in everything you do.
Yes.
And while society may make you feel like you have to have it all figured out, just know that life is a journey.
Yes.
You're going to get some right and sometimes you're going to get some wrong. But together you can figure it all out. Focus on what's real for you in your relationship.
Yes.
With that said, we hope this episode has given you some tools to help you build that confidence. Whether you're single and working on yourself or in a relationship in wanting to strengthen your bond, confidence is key to happiness and fulfillment.
Yes.
And I'll tell you, sis, now we can sit in here, we can laugh, and we talk about our flaws and the things that we're still working on and the things that maybe we think we got right. It's because we're confident in what we do.
Right.
And yes, that doesn't mean after we're done filming this podcast that I'm not going to screw up on something. And if I do, we're going to still keep working at it. Now, my goal is not to, because that can go wrong. But if it does happen, we would work through it. So, and I'd say for all of you, just look at your relationship this way. It's not perfect. You're going to keep working at it.
Right.
And just keep working at it.
Keep working.
So we thank all of you guys for tuning into the Blissology Podcast today. We'd love to hear your thoughts. I'm sure some of you are probably dealing or maybe overcoming some issues in your relationship when it comes to confidence. Please share those in the comments. And don't forget to share this episode with someone you think that could use it. And be sure to like, share, and subscribe to the podcast. And until next time, I'm hoping that you continue to build your confidence in yourself and in your relationship with your partner.
That's right.
So until next time, peace.